Hi everyone, Dakota again from becomingaprogrammer.com. In the last video, I showed you how to use the on-page change option on the dir-pagination controls. This is from Michael Bromley's pagination library, and that's allowing us to fix our problem with the numbering without having to mess with any of the structure of the page during the JavaScript index of method and all of that, and doing it really the Angular way using data binding with this vm.start property. So in this video, I'm going to tie in a UI router. We're going to work on our top state here, and we're going to use it to allow us to use the URL to navigate to different pages within our pagination here. So if we want to add a URL component to the pagination, we're going to do that here in UI router. And we're going to add a parameter to our URL, and we're going to make this actually /top, and then we're going to add the parameter name, which we're going to call it page. And the way this works is basically we can add any query parameter by adding a question mark and then the name of the parameter, and then we will have access to that this page, whatever the value of that is, through the state parameters object, stateParams. And we would do it like for this example, it would be stateParams.name, and then we would be able to, or .page, sorry, stateParams.page, and we would be able to access the value that is put in through the URL. So let's also let's add a default here, basically a catch-all. And to do that, we are going to inject urlRouterProvider. Be fun to say a lot of times fast. And then after we add this, we can actually go down and add an otherwise function that will allow us to catch other results here. So what we're going to do is we'll do urlRouterProvider, and then we'll do .otherwise, and then we're going to send it to /top. And that basically means if we put in any other route, I'm going to save this here, and we'll reload, and you can see that we get redirected to top here. And then if I put in like 1 or whatever, it's going to redirect me to top. So that's how we implement a default state with UI router. And now when we visit, say, top, and then we wanted to put in like page 3, for instance, now you can see this is different from page 1. Like we put in page 1, actually no. So yeah, this isn't doing anything yet. You see when we put in the page, we're still getting the same page back. We're still getting the first 30 stories, and this is because at the moment the dir-paginate directive doesn't know about what the current page that we want to see, basically page 3. It doesn't know that. So fortunately, the dir-paginate directive has an option that we can use to specify the current page, and it's current-page, which is nice. So we can pass that option an expression that returns the current page we want to display. So that's what we're going to do in this step here. We're going to add a current page property to our scope within the TopStoriesController, and then we are going to update its value whenever the stateParams.page is passed in via the URL. But looking at this, you can see that we actually need to inject state parameters because we need to be able to access the value within the state parameters. So we need to have the object in the controller to be able to do that. So here we're going to do that. We're going to say scope.currentPage, and we're going to get the value that we pass in through the state parameters. So we're going to do stateParams.page, And then if this value is undefined, if we don't pass a parameter, we want to make sure that it still knows what page to display. So we're going to use the OR operator here and put in 1. And that means that if we don't pass a page as an argument, it'll set this value equal to 1, the value of the current page. And then, so what we need to do, and then let's just demonstrate that before we move on. So now this is still displaying the first page because the issue is that we're not we haven't added the attribute here within the dir-paginate directive, and I think I think it's the same element. So that's this list item that has the dir-paginate on it. On that element, that's where we specify the current page option, and then we can pass in the value current page. And because we define current page on the controller scope, we will be able to reload this, and now you can see we have different stories. So when we click on page 2, see, now we're having the right numbers, but we can go 4, and those are different stories, and then we go 5, and those are different stories. But obviously we still have the issue with the numbering, and the reason for that is that we are updating the value of vm.start within this update page callback function, but that's only being called when we click on the pagination links, and it's not being updated when we just navigate to a URL. So what we need to do is to initialize this vm.start property, which tells the ordered list what number to start on, and we need to basically set it on the same formula here, but based on the current page instead of the new page number that we send in when we click on a pagination link. So we'll call this, sorry for that loud noise, we'll call this scope.currentPage, and then we will actually we need to do the 30, so we do 30 times scope.currentPage minus 1 plus 1. Now when we save it and reload this page, you'll see we start on 121, and then when we go to 4, again, sorry about the noise, and then so now we have those, and when we click here, we're actually running into a little problem still, because now the pagination links are not updating the URL. So we want that to actually also be happening, so that when we click on one of these pagination links, the URL is updated. I think that's the last time we're going to make that noise, so yeah, hopefully. But now, yeah, so we're going to come back in the next step and we're going to fix this. We're going to add the location service, so that when we click on a pagination link, the URL will be updated. But let's add our changes now before we move on any further. And I'm going to commit them. We're adding dynamic routes for different pages of the top stories list. Okay, in the next video we're going to do that location service so we can update the URL when we click on one of the pagination links. I'll see you then.